Hello everyone, this is Inma, and on this video I want to give you some tricks to use reference to draw poses on Clip Studio Paint. We will focus on real-life photos and 3D models. Let's begin! I'm going to start with a simple way to use a photo as reference. I simply copy-paste the photo into my canvas, adjust the size using the scale function, and I lower the opacity a lot. Now I create a new layer on top, and I'm going to sketch a human figure following what I see on the photo. With this, you get a nice realistic pose in no time. However, in case your style is not realistic, like mine, using the proportion of a real human will not work so well to use as reference. But it's no problem, we can edit the photo to make it fit our style better. I want my reference to have a longer torso, so I select the part I want with the lasso and use the Scale Rotate function you can find under Transform on the Edit menu. I deselect the Keep Aspect Ratio option because I want to distort the image, and I drag from the top so that I can make the torso longer. While I'm at it, I also adjust the position a bit. Since I'm using the Scale Rotate function, when I move the cursor next to the corner, you will see it changes into a curved arrow. This means you can now rotate the selected part of the image. I click OK and I deselect. I'm now creating a new selection with the lasso to make the head bigger. I mark the Keep Aspect Ratio and I drag from the top of the head to make it bigger. I deselect, lower the opacity of the layer again, and create a new layer on top to work on a new sketch using my edited photo. I feel more comfortable working with these new proportions because they fit my style better. If your style is realistic, that's great, but if it isn't, don't worry, it's not a bad thing. There are tons of cartoons and comics out there with very unrealistic proportions, and that's totally cool. Here you can see the two sketches I made compared. I'm happier with the one on the left, so I will use that one to create my final drawing. And this is how you can use photos to create nice illustrations on Clip Studio Paint. Clip Studio Assets is the place to download extra materials for Clip Studio Paint, including movable 3D figures. When you click on the little arrow on the search, you have a lot of options to narrow your search. If you click on 3D characters, you will find a lot of pre-designed characters to download, which you can arrange by popularity or published date. If instead of 3D characters we choose body shape, you will find a lot of generic human figures with different proportions to choose from. You can download as many as you like, and most of them are free. For this tutorial, I will use one of the 3D human figures that comes with Clip Studio Paint by default. Once you drag and drop it into your canvas, you can play around with the angle and position of the figure. When you click anywhere on the figure, you will see some blue circles appear on different points of its body. You can drag from those circles to adjust the pose of arms, legs, etc. To move each part more accurately, use the blue, green, and red lines that indicate different directions in which you can move the body parts. To select a specific body part, hover your cursor over the part until it becomes blue, then click to select it. If you expand the Pose option on the Tool Property menu, you can even move fingers in a more detailed way. You can use the lock buttons to freeze certain fingers on the current position, while the rest still moves as you drag the cross around the triangle. You can create your own poses like this, But here's the best part. You will find a lot of predefined poses on the Pose folder in the Material menu, and there are even more poses you can download from Assets. Just choose the pose type on the search and find over 8,000 poses to choose from. I downloaded so many poses that I decided to rearrange them into different folders on the Material menu, as you can see. All you have to do is to drag and drop the pose you want into the canvas and then adjust the angle and position. Once that's done, I lower the opacity of the 3D figure layer and I create a new layer on top to start my sketch. You don't have to draw the figure exactly as it is. Feel free to change anything that you feel doesn't fit. For example, I'm making one of her feet bigger by selecting it with the lasso and then using the Scale Rotate function. But what if the pose I downloaded fits my idea only partially? You can edit any pose after applying it, that's not a problem. Just move the parts you want to change, just like we did before, until the pose looks closer to what you had in mind. I have edited this pose to get a whole different feeling, and now I can lower the opacity and draw the sketch on a new layer. After I'm done, I hide the 3D figure layer, lower the opacity of the sketch layer, and I start creating my final real drawing on top of it, using it as reference. Sometimes we struggle with a specific body part and we don't really need a whole 3D human to use as reference. On Clip Studio Assets, you can download body parts such as hands to help you out. Some are paid materials, so if you don't want to buy them, you can still use a full body figure to put the hand into the position you need. I downloaded this one and I drag and drop it into the canvas like any other 3D object. On the Select Body of Character menu, I select the opposite hand, which is the one I need. Now all I have to do is to move the angle until it's on the position I want, and to edit the position of the fingers like we did before. Now I lower the opacity of the layer and I draw my sketch based on it. On Clip Studio Assets, you can download heads too. Downloading heads is very useful to help you with complicated angles. Just drag and drop the head into the canvas, decide on the angle, and do the same process as before. Lower the opacity of the 3D head layer, create a new layer on top, and work on your sketch more easily. As you can see, there are many ways in which Clip Studio Paint can help you draw interesting poses and angles. On my next video, we will take this one step further and we will learn how to draw poses without using any reference at all. Stay tuned and see you next time. Bye bye!